Normally I buy slightly used bikes. I don't really buy new motorcycles that often. You know, when it comes to dirt bikes, I will buy a new dirt bike, because with dirt bikes they tend to be beat on. You know what I'm saying? Man. And also you don't know how it was maintained. So, but as far as street bikes, most people don't really beat on street bikes, so it's okay to get slightly used. And there's a number of benefits by going with a slightly used bike. But I'm going to tell you guys what I really dislike about new motorcycles and why I try to avoid getting one. Stay tuned.
Let's go for a ride. Watching CycleCruza's all-in-one motorcycle channel. Subscribe today. Continually video suggestions, but you may find what you're looking for by visiting my website at CycleCruza.com and click on the menu tab My Videos. And those are a bunch of playlists with all of my videos categorized in them to make it easier for you to navigate through.
You know, I bought this 2017 Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 factory. I bought it slightly used. It only had like 700 something miles on it when I bought it, and I saved a fortune. But I will tell you guys, even with these even slightly used bikes and these new bikes, the number one thing I really don't like about them is that now you have to change the ECU in order to put on an aftermarket exhaust like you do with this bike. And I think the new KTM Super Duke R, they actually have some type of emissions built into the engine, so it doesn't matter about you changing the exhaust or not. It's built into the engine. No longer can you, just put on a slip-on and a power commander and call it a day. So I hate what they're doing with these new motorcycles and all the added electronics that you don't need. In my opinion, I still don't really care for all the electronic rider aids that are on these bikes. That's one of the reasons why I'm selling this bike, because I don't need all the electronic rider aids. I like a cable throttle too, which this bike is an amazing bike, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to tell you some other things, some other reasons why I wouldn't buy a new bike. Now, I'm not saying that I won't buy a new bike, but I generally try to avoid buying a new bike. But I'm going to tell you my gripes here. But let's get on the bike and go for a ride. Let's do a MotoVlog here. Let's go for a ride. But for those of you guys who want to get these heated gloves keeping my hands warm on this cold day, this airbag vest keeping me safe, this ultra lightweight carbon fiber helmet, the camel pants, my Dainese winter jacket. I always include links to my gear in the description and comment section of my videos. I tell you, these gloves come in real handy. Just hit that butt, pow! Keep them warm for like 5 hours on low. I like that. No more cold fingers. But I'll tell you, another reason, the really, big reason not to get a new bike, obviously, is you take a hit money wise. You're gonna pay, once you buy it and you leave the lot, you probably lost a couple, like $3,000 right off the jump. You could pick up a slightly used bike and save a fortune. I only paid, what I paid, 12,000 something. I think I paid 13,000 I think for this or something. Brand new, this bike was like, I think like 17,000 or something. Although you can get deals on leftover new bikes. I think leftover new, this bike is currently running probably about like $15,500, maybe $16,000. So I saved a lot by just buying a bike with 700 miles. But another big reason I don't really like buying a new bike is you have to break them in, which I know there's some of you out there to say a hard break-in is okay, no problem, because some of you argue that it's already pretty much broken in at the factory. But the manual does say you need to do a soft break-in. And if you don't, you could risk voiding your warranty possibly, especially with the Aprilia, because Aprilia does not like to pay out, guys. These people are real funny about paying out for warranty work, man. I only had one issue with this. When I first got it, it went into limp mode. Come on, no, man, not on the road. Let me pull over here. This is bull, man. And they had to update the software and tighten the cables, and I haven't had a problem since, but it took them like a week to approve payment on this just for an hour of labor. It's crazy, man. But you know, when I've gotten a new bike, I've always done a hard braking because I can't wait, man. I want to crank that throttle. This thing is sick. I don't want to be putting around town, and I want to rip on that throttle. I did with my YZ. I haven't had no problems with the YZ. Brand new. I bought my CBR 1000 RR brand new. It was leftover new, but it was just like, you know, 0 miles on it, and I ripped the throttle on that when I got it. I didn't have any problems whatsoever. But with a bike like the Aprilia, and these are European bikes, you may want to go by what the manufacturer says. For Japanese bikes, you may be able to get away with that. But another reason why I don't like buying a new motorcycle is because I feel the need to keep them in mint condition. It's like, because they're brand new and crispy, nothing, absolutely perfect mint. So you get real anal about, you know, if you see a hairline scratch, you start getting all upset about it. And you start parking your bike at the end of the parking lot or something so nobody messes with it. I mean, you get, just like I used to do with a brand new car. I used to do the same thing, and then it would end up getting jacked up even worse because I was so overly protective of this new vehicle. And I don't like that. That's why when I bought the CBR 1000 RR new, I immediately took off the OEM fairings and I put on custom aftermarket fairings, because at that point I didn't care. You know, with the Chinese fairings, because if something scratched, I could easily replace it for less than 50 bucks, as where a brand new OEM fairings like $500+. Yeah, and also with new bikes, when they're brand new, crispy new, you don't have a great aftermarket support for the new model. Which is another reason why you may want to hold off on getting that brand new crispy bike. And also, if it's a first year model bike, like with the new BMW S1000 RR that was new, brand spanking new, that bike had some recalls on it. The Ducati XDiavel that I used to own, I bought it a year later, and that still had recalls. That was a first year bike that I bought, but I bought it used though. I thought all the recall work had been done and it was ready to roll. And but nope, I had to do a recall on the brakes. The rear brake went out on it. I had some problems. So you're gonna have to deal with recall work with that brand new crispy first year bike, which is a pain in the butt. You know, waste your time. And really, you're just better off just getting a used bike, man. Save some money. No recalls you really have to deal with. You're not going to be trying to all anal over the bike, worried about hairline scratches, you know. And the older bikes, you don't have to put a new race ECU on it or have it programmed or whatever to put on a simple slip-on, and it's a lot cheaper. You can put like a $200-300 slip-on the bike, as I have to pay in a couple grand. Like with this bike, if you want to put a slip-on, you got to get a race ECU or have it programmed. And that's one reason why I haven't put an aftermarket exhaust on this bike, because I didn't want to spend like $2,000. And then also I heard some people had some problems with the bike, you know, once they put an aftermarket exhaust on. So I didn't want to deal with it. And also Aprilia told me if I put an aftermarket exhaust, it voids a warranty. So I just said to heck with it. I like the stock exhaust at speed, like when you get up in the higher RPMs. Oh man! It sounds like a MotoGP bike. Tell me your experience, you know, how you feel about buying new bikes. Now I know you can get some really sick deals on leftover new bikes, and it's very hard for me to pass up a leftover new bike, because sometimes the leftover new bikes could be cheaper than what the used bikes are going for. That was the case for that 2012 CBR 1000 RR I bought back in 2014, leftover new. The people that were selling their CBR for more than what I paid. I paid only $9,000 out the door, brand new, on that 2012 CBR 1000 RR. I miss saying that, man. The CBR 1000 RR. See that? You can sound like a MotoGP bike, man, when you crank that throttle on this bike. But yeah, so I decided to get the leftover new bike for cheaper because it's brand new, crispy. But like I said, it was 2 years leftover new, so any recall work had been taken care of, and it wasn't a first year bike. You know, even the 2008 CBR 1000 RR first year back then was a first year bike. It had oil burning issues. Almighty Honda, you know, had problems. All of them. First year bikes you want to avoid, guys, because you will have some problems. But anyways, guys, leave a comment below and tell me how you feel about new motorcycles. Do you always buy a used bike like I try to myself? Leave a comment. Let's talk about it. That's why I do these videos, to incite community discussion. But I appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my All-in-One Motorcycle channel.
Thumbs up. Check out my playlist for new riders and popular videos. Don't forget to comment and subscribe, and check out my other channel, Bug Out Moto, where I customize a van for my motorcycle so I can live in my van with my motorcycle and travel across the country anywhere. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Bug Out Moto.